What do you consider big waste of money? For what it is worth, I feel ya. Then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to stop buying games. I've bought maybe 2 games in the last 1.5 years, and have just been going down the list of unplayed games. If anyone else feels I keep buying games but never play them, I can definitely recommend this. I had an 8GB data plan on my phone for years. Before that it was 4GB, and AT&T graciously sent me a text saying they doubled it for free. Little did I know, for all those years with an 8GB plan I could just go into the app and switch to an unlimited plan for almost the same exact price. When you factor in me paying $15 per gigabyte and overage fees almost every month in the summer when I worked outside with no Wi-Fi, it is way cheaper. Of course they didn't advertise that to me when I went in every 2 years to upgrade. I bought one designer onesie from Ralph Lauren when my little one was born for £25. I don't regret it at all. It was decorated with little Ralph teddies all dressed in blue booties and bonnets. It was adorably cute, and I turned it into a bear when he grew out of it. I do have to say the material was unbelievably softer and it didn't fade at all. I think it was worth it for one special thing, but I wouldn't go overboard choosing only designer. It's the opposite with me. When I was younger I had buyer's remorse because I had to without something else I couldn't afford then. Now I think, let it be just money. If I can throw money at something and it solves the problem, so be it. A few weeks ago I hadn't had a particular tool I needed for a task. I just got in my car, grabbed the next best tool the salesman recommended, and I was happy. 20 years ago I had to study buyer's guides and check the pros and cons and hadn't be sure about the tool even after I bought it. I have a problem with spending impulsively, and I solved it by making my problem smaller. I would normally get the urge to buy some big thing, do a bunch of research and get myself pumped up to get it, then be bummed once I got it. What I do now is the same thing, but with much smaller purchases. I'll find some little, inexpensive, practical product that I want that will improve my quality of life in some small way, but do the same extensive research about it before I buy. I end up with the same satisfying anticipation, but buyer's remorse is greatly reduced because it's not a big financial investment. Lot of baby toys. You spend hundreds on certain flashy, expensive gifts that just sit unused in the corner, and then they play with that knick-knack you picked up from the dollar store all the time. I know it's a bit cliché, but my experience so far is that kids often just want to play with the cardboard box, so to speak. You don't need to spend hundreds on a 1-3-year-old in terms of toys and games. I live in an apartment without washer-dryer hookups. I don't pay for water. That is part of the rent, so I bought a small portable washing machine. Only does one load at a time. Small load. Cost me less than $100, and bought it over a year ago. I figured that based upon the money it costs to wash clothes in the apartment laundromats, I have already paid for my washer, and now washing clothes only cost what I pay for detergent. When I cut cable at the time I had a 100 Mbps up-down plan with FiOS, with HBO, and was paying close to $200 a month. I looked on Verizon's website and saw they had a 200 Mbps plan for $50 a month. I called them up, tell them I want to cancel the cable subscription, but keep my internet plan. They come back and tell me to keep the current plan would cost me $95 a month. I ask about the $50 plan and they tell me that's only for new customers. At the time my contract was finished, I asked if there was any way to put me on the new plan, because if I had to cancel outright I might just as well look for another provider altogether. They wouldn't budge, so I told them to cancel the service effective in 1 week, hung up, then called back and got new service set up for $50 per month. It was a pain in the ass because they had to mail me a new modem. All the other providers in the area were complete garbage, so I already knew I wasn't going to switch to someone else. When the new plan took effect I noticed I wasn't getting the advertised speed, and they actually bumped it up to $300 for the same price. and just keep saying no. I bought a car for the first time in February and the woman kept asking me if I wanted this and that, to which I said number. She kept asking me why I didn't want these things and I simply stated I don't want it. I don't need it. It adds nothing of value to my car. That seemed to shut her up. Also, read your contract. My woman actually told me, you know, most people don't read the contract. You can just sign it. No. Bought a new truck last year. After we agreed on the price, they tried to upsell me on a special rust proofing. The guy literally started the speech with, "How much do you know about rust?" After his 15-minute spiel, I told him the truth. I'm a corrosion specialist. I know more about rust than the people who wrote script on rust prevention, and here are the 10 flat-out lies you just told me. I did not buy the extra sealer. They tried getting my dad with the nitrogen-filled tires. He asked why they did that. The salesperson told him it was better. My dad says he doesn't want it and isn't paying for it. The salesperson says, "But we already filled them," as if that would change my dad's mind. Lol. My dad tells the salesperson, "Okay, well, either unfill them or don't charge me. Those are your choices." I dislike dealerships. I feel as though the salespeople think they're all slick and business savvy as they attempt to charge you for bullshit. Hell, when I was buying my car, they had a charge of $1,400 tacked on, listed as so-and-so town dealership experience, which amounted to them wanting to charge me $1,400 for letting me sit in a room that had a TV to watch and bottles of water to drink. The whole experience was fucking weird. The salesman I had launched into a story about how he was cheating on his fiancée and started showing me pictures of the girl he was seeing in lingerie. Fucking bizarre. Had a lot of friends in the car industry. Never get the warranty. Never show up and tell them what you want your monthly payment to be. Always ask for throw-ins right as you sign. Floor mats, roof racks, etc. They'll throw it in so you sign and they just bill it back to the manufacturer. It's a shady business, especially the finance side. It's pretty common for dealerships to add a percentage on top of whatever loan percentage they negotiate for you with a bank. Come with your own financing. I bought a 3-year-old Subaru and opted for the $3,500 6-year warranty. It works out to about $55 per month. But man, I've already covered it: wheel bearings, engine pulleys, suspension bits, exhaust. The parts were probably about $2,000. But man, each of those jobs had 3+ hours on them, worth every penny. The car ended up costing about $400 per month over 6 years, and 4 after purchase years, and it still feels like a new car. A comparable new car based on features would be closer to $700 per month here. Nothing. It all boils down to a person's belief system. Why do people have health insurance? Why do people have fire insurance? This is no different. It's there for when you do need it. It boils down to what you feel comfortable with and being able to afford if there ever was an issue. I hate financial surprises, so I opt for extended warranties. Most extended warranties also offer a repayment plan if you do not use them. When I purchased my car, they didn't ask me to add anything on, they just hid it in the contract. When I asked what all this stuff was in that, "No, I don't want it," the manager had it. I really think that because I was a young girl on my own, they thought they could sneak in additional charges without me noticing. Previously, I had a great experience at a dealership that didn't pay their employees based on commission, and I wish I had gone back there the last time I bought a car. It was such a different experience. They're not even using etching kits everywhere. Slimy fucks at my dealership slipped that one in on me when I didn't know better, using statements that amounted to "it comes installed on all our vehicles," like it was something that was actually etched that I couldn't change. It had a name like Van Etch, but it was just a UV sticker that could be removed with a fingernail that they placed on the inside lips of the doors. If they hadn't left them in the cup holder, I'd probably never have noticed. Drove back the next day and got refunded the $399 for the 6 stupid stickers. I had such a weird buying experience from my first not junker car to my second. The first time I really wanted a specific car. I drove an older model growing up and missed it. It handled great in the snow, the new models had great gas mileage and safety records. That was the car, but only one dealership had it used in my price range, and boy did they know it. Every time I turned down an upsell, my salesperson disappeared to talk to his manager. It took about 4 hours to get from "yes I will buy that car" to getting the keys. I was pissed. I refused to do anything with that dealership. If there's a recall on my car, I drive an hour out of the way to avoid them. Second car. My husband's Toyota lost a fight with a dot plow. They were both on the highway. The plow drifted into his lane and sheared off the driver's side metal skin. I don't know what to call it. The skeleton was showing, and pushed him across 4 lanes going 50 miles per hour. He walked away. Obviously he wanted the same thing since it did so well in a bad accident. We went to the nearby Toyota dealership. We told them what we wanted. We drove a few used models and picked one. It took an hour to do the paperwork including the loan. They casually offered upsells which we declined except 2. Heated seats FTW, baby. It was no pressure, no waiting, so easy. Low stress. We've sent relatives and co-workers to them since then. If you run a car dealership, do the second one. We will buy from them again. On the topic of extended warranties, I have always been against them. However, we bought a Hyundai 7 years ago and they were offering this extended warranty where if it doesn't get used, you get it back at the end. I guess the idea is that they know they typically have minor warranty issues year 4-7, meaning they will keep the whole amount and pay out little. Alternatively, since it is non-transferable, maybe they know most people sell or trade in by this point. I did the math on it at the time and it made sense. I had almost forgot about it until they called last week. They just wanted proof I still owned the car and they would send a refund. Wow. My experience was quite the opposite. Bought a Peugeot 2008 GT. The dealer was a very nice chap. I was pondering whether to add the heated windshield. He just plainly said no way. Apparently the system they are using can really strain your eyes in night conditions. Also told me not to add the sunroof unless I absolutely can't live without it, because most people end up using it a few times only. I'm the driver so I wouldn't enjoy it anyway. He also demoed the standard sound system which is really good and ended up not paying €1,000 extra for the Focal One. He tried selling me the winter carpets, I guess they're called, when I picked up the car, but it was really just a question. I have to buy a spare tire though as there was no way of configuring it in the system. Oh well. To be fair, just buying a new car. I bought my current car for $4,000 over 2 years ago. Outside of normal maintenance I've had no issues. Sure, it already had 110k miles but it'll last me until it hits 200k most likely. So paying $4,000 for about 100k miles is a good deal. Buying a new car for $30,000 and getting 200k miles is a ripoff. Even if you buy a new to you car every 100k miles you will always come out ahead. I had this with the used car at a dealership. I had cash so I stated what I was paying for the vehicle including taxes, fees and that was it. They agreed and came back with the paperwork to sign. We looked and saw about $1,800 of other stuff tacked on in addition to the agreed price. There was roadside assistance, warranty stuff, really shitty warranty stuff at that, tire insurance and a few other odd items. They looked mystified that A, we caught it and B, refused all of it unless they were willing to incorporate all of it into the agreed on price of the vehicle. They declined that option. I remember buying my Maxima. I negotiated everything over the phone and told them if they'd do a single turnover I was walking out. But the turnover was the big-tittied option lady, and she had big titties, and displayed them. So I listened to her spiel while gawking at her tits. She got to the part where, for $500, I could replace the Maxima logo with a gold one. I was like, is that real gold? Nope. And I came this close to pulling out some Quentin Tarantino dialogue. Think along the lines of the dead ender storage scene. Wasted opportunities. The real reason dealerships use nitrogen is because vehicles tend to sit for long periods of time on the lot. In the past, dealerships would rotate vehicles and move them around. Vehicles that sit can cause flat spots in tires. Dealerships were sold on the idea that nitrogen-filled tires wouldn't get flat spots as easily. And to some degree that's true. But instead of paying for it, they do it for themselves and charge the customer for the service. I'm almost 50 and have only owned 2 brand new cars in my life. The last one I bought was a Jeep and I didn't want any features with it. No hardtop, no fancy electronics, not even power windows or AC. It was so much cheaper and the extra features that I'm missing didn't impact my ownership experience at all. I did end up getting the AC because they had one on the lot that was what I was looking for, but it had AC. But I didn't end up getting charged for it. I've been the designated deal killer for 2 of my friends, only need to put the hammer down and walk them out once. A designated deal killer is a friend that doesn't have an emotional attachment to the car, and can see when the BS starts spewing from the salesperson. When it's your first car, your first new car, a dream list car or simple a new-to-you car, we are all susceptible to the once you sit in it, you see yourself driving it. Then you start to justify that little extra in payments. We agree on total cost, or max payment, down payment and what she absolutely wants in the car, power windows, gas mileage. Then we do some back-of-the-envelope calculations, and that's the numbers we stick with. For different people different things matter, but for these 2 girls it was a need reliable transportation, decent gas mileage and they were on a budget. The nice thing about an extended warranty is you can refund it. I don't think those are too bad, especially some companies include basically everything except tires, more like a service plan. If you think you maybe keep your car past the manufacturer warranty and purchase extended warranty, and then you get rid of your before your extended is up, you can refund it for a prorated amount at least. I don't know if that's applicable everywhere, but it is in my state anyway. But yeah, all that other stuff you mentioned, complete BS. Nitrogen do absolutely nothing significative. They use it on aircraft not because it is more stable, but to help against internal tire fire. As the pressure goes up, the temperature at which stuff ignite goes down. If the tire overheat, it may actually burn internally first, which raise the pressure until the tire explode. In reality, it is the oxygen pressure that do it. It have something to do with the concentration and pressure. A nitrogen-filled tire have way less oxygen, which mean that the oxygen pressure thing is lower, which make it less able to combust. And under a certain percentage it just cannot ignite it anyway. Ban etching may be worth it, not as a thief deterrent feature, but as an insurance lowering feature. It may or may not be worth it in the long run. Same thing with alarm system. Seat, paint protection. Yeah, I used to be skeptical of that myself. Then I bought a new car. I wanted to have a specific color delivered to the lot. They wanted to sell me one of a similar color that was already on the lot. It had already had the simonized treatment on it. The color didn't matter that much to me, so I said I'd take it off their hands if they zeroed out the cost of the treatment. They agreed, so I got it for free. Fast forward a year later, I get in a minor car accident that required a door to be replaced. Went to a friendly mechanic who saved a ton of money by getting a new door from the junkyard. The replacement door did not have the simonized treatment. 3 years later, guess which door has a bunch of rust spots popping up on it? Point is, this shit works if you live in a place that has salty roads in the winter. The thing they don't tell you at the dealership though, is that other shops can do the treatment to your car at a fraction of the price. Plus all those fees don't even get it to you fast. If they were doing some kind of white glove service where the pizza arrives at perfect temp, then I could tolerate the fees. But this is just pay a ton of fees and it gets tossed on your porch anywhere from 20 to 80 minutes from now. Seems like half the time the drivers don't even have a basic insulated bag to hold the bill in, which is technology even Domino's managed to figure out decades ago. I hope the push toward curbside pickup continues and survives the pandemic. Pay ahead of time via the app or website, pull up, food is placed in your trunk, You drive off. That seems like the happy medium of ease of access versus not ending up with a congealed burrito. Putting higher octane, premium, gas when your vehicle doesn't require it. If your vehicle requires regular, put regular. If your vehicle requires 89 octane, put 89 octane. Your car won't go any faster or get better fuel economy just because you added higher octane fuel over the manufacturer recommended octane for your vehicle.